welcome back to my channel. So during today's video, I am going to be creating an eyeshadow look using the Makeup Obsessions Warm Up eyeshadow palette. I don't know what color scheme I'm going to be using, which is the norm for me, especially when I'm getting ready for work, but we're just going to wing it. So I'm just going to make sure my primer is smooth on my lids, and I use my Planning Makeup by Yolanda eyeshadow base in the shade Foundation. First, I am going to be taking the MAC 224 brush, this fluffy brush, and we are going to be taking the shade, well, you know what, let's not do that right now. Let's set these lids right quick, and I'm going to use the Cream Brulee by Wet n Wild and set the base. Since there's not a really light shade in this palette for me to set my lids with, so we'll do that first. You just want to make sure it's set like really good. Okay, so now we're going to go in with this MAC 224 brush. And let's start with this shade. Like I said, I don't know what I want to do. So let's start with the shade Power. And it's the next to the last matte shade on this top row. I'm just going to pack it on the brush and place it right in the outer V. That is not what I wanted to do, but it is so pigmented. We're just going to place it in the outer V. I did not expect that to be that bold. Just going to stamp it. Ooh, I'm about to work on it. And stamp a little bit more. Okay, let's add a little bit more to this side. Okay, a little bit more right in this area. So now we're going to start blending lightly with the tip of the brush. And I'm just blending in circular motions and going right into the towards the inner corner of the crease area, and still lightly blending the edges. This thing came off like really bold. So I'm just going to continue to blend. And I'm still just blending with the tip of the brush in these circular motions. And add a little bit more right in the outer V. And just continue to build up the shadow to your liking. And I'm just adding a little bit more. Right in that outer V area. Because I'm just trying to slowly build up the shade. And it's working really good as you build it up. And I paid $4.99 for this palette out of TJ Maxx. I found it in TJ Maxx. I don't know if they still have it, but this is my first time using Makeup Obsession brand. I think they're a part of Revolution, Makeup Revolution. But it's my first time using their eyeshadow from that particular brand. I'm liking it so far. I didn't realize it was going to be that pigmented and bold, but we're going to roll with it. So I'm just continuing to just add a little more and make sure the edges are blended. And I'm making sure the shade is right in the crease area. Blending it with the tip of this brush in circular motions. Okay, so now I'm going to take my makeup round and we're going to wipe off this brush. So now I want to go in with the shade Crave, which is a shade right below that shade. And we're going to use the same brush, but I'm placing it on the side of the MAC brush. And I want to place it right above the crease area. Focusing more of it right above that bone, right below the brow. I'm just tacking it and building it. Before I actually blend it. So now we're going to blend the shade all the way to the crease area with what's left on the brush. And make sure those two shades are blended and transitioned together. Now a little bit more. And blend. And now I'm just taking the tip of the brush to make sure everything is blended really good and in circular motions. This hair. And I'm really having like little to no fallout hardly with this shadow, which is pretty good too. It's not an issue for me anyways, but I think that's pretty good. And I'm just making sure these two shadows meet, are blended really good. I like that. So now I'm going to go in with my Too Faced glitter glue. And we're going to put a little dollop of it on our ring finger. About that little dollop. And what I've been liking lately is rubbing my two ring fingers together, warming up the product, and just placing it on the lid. And I'm placing it mainly towards the inner corner and going over to the center. I'm not going all the way across the lid. And I find that this way it's easier for me to place it on my lid where it's not as tacky. Well, I'm sorry, not tacky, but as wet and easier to become tacky to place, if that makes sense. And I'm just making sure it is placed evenly and smooth on the lid. I like that. So for our shimmer today, let's see, what shade is this? Let's swatch this shade. That's like a nice mauve sparkly shade. I don't want to go that route. Let's do a pigment. I think I want to use this pigment by The Balm, and I've had it for a very long time, and I used to use it all the time. This one is in the shade Minnie's Eyes. Overrated. So we're gonna, ooh. And this is the shade. Let's see if I can do like a swatch of it. Let's see. And it's like this nice pinkish, taupey type shade, but we're gonna place it on the lid. I am looking for my brush. Gotta go with this foolishness. So we're gonna take this Real Techniques fluffy brush. It's just a small, not really small, but small flat blending brush. And we're gonna take a little bit of the shadow, and I always make sure the excess is off of the brush, and we're gonna start placing it and on the lid. I always start at the lower lash line, not lower lash line, the lash line, and then lightly place it up on the lid. So we're gonna do that again. Now this makes me want to pull out more of my pigments. And it don't take a whole lot of pigments when you're using them on your lid. So do the same thing again for the other eye. And like I said, I like to concentrate most of it like right on the lash line and going up the lid. That way most of it is placed in that area and not all the way up through your crease and starts to spread everywhere. So I'm going to take a little bit more and make sure it's coated. And go right in the crease area. With the tip of the brush. I'm liking that. That is pretty. So now we're going to make sure this eye is coated really good. I'm just using the tip of the brush to make sure it's placed right in the crease area. And then we're going to lightly fluff towards the outer V. So I think that should do it. That's a pretty shade. I think this type of shade goes with any type of outer V color. You can do blue, green, purple, whatever color. This right here, this type of shade, I think can go perfect with any type of outer V color. So that would do it for that. So let's take the Sigma E47 and we're gonna blend out this crease area, and I'm gonna go in light back and forth windshield wiper motions and circular motions right in the crease area so the pigment can be blended in with the shadows and the edges. Make sure you blend those edges like really good. You don't want any harshness. Okay, so I am liking this. This makes me want to pull out even more pigments. I like that. But we're going to go back in with the MAC 224 brush. We're going to go back in with that first shade we started with. And we're going to add a little bit of twist, this deeper brown, matte brown shade. And let's see if we can pop that back into the outer V and deepen up just a little bit. I'm just going to place it before we blend. Now we're going to lightly blend with the tip of the brush into the shimmer shade. And I like how this is coming together. And I'm just making sure the crease area is still blended well. Okay, so now we're going to take the Sigma brush one more time. These eyes are acting a fool this morning. and just make sure everything is lightly blended together. Okay, so I am liking this. So let's clean up under the eye area. Okay, so I like that. I think that is so pretty together, like really pretty together. Let's blend a little bit more. Now I'm not adding any more shadows. I'm just making sure these two colors are blended well together. Perfect. So this is the final eye look. I'm going to jump off camera, finish the rest of my face, and I'll be back to show you guys my final look. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back. This is the final look. I love how the entire look came together. I will say I do like this eyeshadow palette. The formula, I'm about to throw it down. The formula is pretty good for a $5 eyeshadow palette. And you can do multiple looks with this eyeshadow palette. I will be using it again. I think I'm going to leave it out intentionally. So that way I would definitely use it like more sooner than later. If that makes sense. Because I do want to dive into some of like the gold shade and the peachy shade. Because I only use 3 shades out this palette to create this look, which are those 3 shades. Well, and I did dip into the matte brown just a little bit. But I do want to use the other shades in the palette to see how they perform. Very nice palette for $4.99. At least that's what I purchased it for at my local TJ Maxx. Let me know your thoughts on this look. If you like this look, let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.